Today's chapter is Genesis 41. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams. 2 years later, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing near the Nile. In front of him, 7 healthy-looking, flattened cows climbed up out of the Nile and grazed on the reeds. Just then, 7 other cows, terrible looking and scrawny, climbed up out of the Nile after them and stood beside them on the bank of the Nile. Then the terrible looking scrawny cows devoured the 7 healthy looking flattened cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. He went back to sleep and had a second dream, in which 7 ears of grain, full and healthy, grew on a single stalk. Just then, 7 ears of corn, of grain, scrawny and scorched by the east wind, sprouted after them, and the scrawny ears swallowed up the full and well-formed ears. Pharaoh woke up, realized it was a dream. In the morning, he was disturbed and summoned all of Egypt's religious experts. And all of its advisors. Pharaoh described his dreams to them, but they couldn't interpret for Pharaoh. Then the chief wine shrewd spoke to Pharaoh. Today I just remembered my mistake. Pharaoh was angry with his servants and put me and the chief baker under arrest with the commissioner of royal guards. We both had dreams one night, he and I, and each of our dreams had its own interpretation. A young Hebrew man, a servant of the commander of the royal guards, was with us. We described our dreams to him, and he interpreted our dreams for us, giving us interpretation for each dream. His interpretation came true, actually. Pharaoh restored to me my position, but hanged him. So Pharaoh summoned Joseph, and they quickly brought him from the dungeon. He shaved, changed clothes, and appeared before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream, but no one could interpret it. Then I heard that you were when you were here a dream, and you could interpret it. Joseph answered Pharaoh, "It's not me." God will give Pharaoh favorable responses. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, in my dream, I was standing on the bank of the Nile. In front of me, 7 flattened cows climbed out of the Nile and grazed on the reeds. Just then, 7 others cow, weak and frail and thin, climbed out of the Nile after them. I've never seen such awful cows in all the land of Egypt. Then the thin and frail cows devoured the first 7 fattened cows. But after they swallowed them whole, no one would have known it. They looked just as bad as they did before. Then I woke up. Verse 22. I went to sleep again, and I saw a dream of 7 full and healthy ears of grain growing on one stalk. Just then, 7 hard and thin ears of grain, scorched by the east winds, sprouted up after them, and the thin ears swallowed the healthy ears. I told religious experts, but they couldn't explain it to me. Joseph said to Pharaoh, Pharaoh has actually had one dream. God has announced to Pharaoh what he is about to do. Then 7 healthy cows are 7 years, and the 7 healthy ears of grain are 7 years. It's actually one dream. The 7 thin, frail cows climbing out after them are 7 years. The 7 thin ears of grain scorched by the east winds are 7 years of famine. It's just as I told Pharaoh. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 years of great abundance are now coming throughout the entire land of Egypt. After them, 7 years of famine will appear in all of the abundance in the land of Egypt. Egypt will be forgotten. The famine will devastate the land. No one will remember the abundance in the land because of the famine that follows. Will be so very severe. The dream occurred to Pharaoh twice because God has determined to do it. God will make it happen soon. Joseph's rise to power. Now Pharaoh should find an intelligent, wise man and give him authority over the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh should appoint administers over the land and take 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. During the good years that are coming, they should collect all such food and store the grain under Pharaoh's control, protecting the food in the cities. This food will be reserved for the 7 years of famine to follow in the land of Egypt, and that the land won't be ravaged by the famine. Verse 37. This advice seemed wise to Pharaoh and all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find a man with more God-given talents than this one?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, no one is as intelligent and as wise as you are. You will be in charge of my kingdom. All of my people will obey your command. Only as the enthroned king will I be greater than you." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Know this, I've given you authority over the entire land of Egypt." Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand. He dressed him in linen clothes and he put a gold necklace around his neck. He put Joseph on a chariot of his second in command, and everyone in front of him cried out, "Attention!" So Pharaoh installed him over the entire land of Egypt. Verse 44. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh. No one will do anything or go anywhere in all the land without your permission." Pharaoh renamed Joseph to Zeb and married him to the daughter of the Philippia, the priest of Hebelites. Then Joseph assumed control of the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he began to serve Pharaoh, Egypt's king. When he left Pharaoh's court and traveled through the entire land of Egypt, during the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentiful. He collected all the food during the 7 years of abundance in the land of Egypt and stored the food in cities. In each city, he stored the food from the fields surrounding it. Joseph amassed grain like the sand of the sea. There was so much he stopped trying to measure it because it was beyond measuring. Before the years of famine arrived, the daughter of Pot, priest of Hamelites, gave birth to 2 sons for Joseph. Joseph named his oldest son Manish because he said God helped me forget all of my troubles. And everyone in my father's household. He named the second son Ephraim because he said God has given me children in the land where I have been treated harshly. The 7 years of abundance of the land came to an end, and then the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. The famine struck every county or country, but the entire land of Egypt had bread. When the famine ravaged the entire land of Egypt, and the people pleaded to Pharaoh for bread, Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph. Do whatever he tells you." The famine covered every part of the land, and Joseph opened all the grannies and sold grains to the Egyptians in the land of Egypt. The famine became more and more severe. Every country came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph, because in every country the famine had become more severe. Thank you for listening to this chapter of Genesis 41, and I apologize for mispronouncing some of the names. Remember to smile, because you don't know how that will help brighten somebody's day. Thank you, and God bless.